welcome to the channel's third birthday video. A few weeks ago now I asked you for some questions that you would like to know the answers to, and this is now the video for that. But we're not going to be sitting in my study the whole time. We're going to do a little bit of a tour while I answer the questions. So I hope you enjoy. No obvious. I'd have to come and answer a question at Silbury Hill. Right, so this question is from Helen. He says, you have explored some well-known and some lesser-known sites. Any sites that you were surprised to locate? I think it's the whole Swindon area. I'd have to say I was really shocked about. I wasn't expecting there to be so many stone circles there. It was an accidental find about the Fox Hill figures. That came about searching the stone circles there. A newspaper article from 2014 came up about them, and that's what sparked that. And of course there's still some more to come back from Swindon area which I just need to film. So yeah, the Swindon area was a real big shock. She also asks, are there any sites you're still searching for? There's no specific sites that I'm still searching for, really. Obviously there's a few projects that have just started which you won't have seen yet. One being these artificial mounds, which I'm working on a video at the moment. So I'm trying to search out more of those. And oddly enough, a new area has just come into my radar of possibly 5 stone circles. Not in the Wiltshire area as such, but not far off. So I'm quite looking forward to getting my teeth into those. I just need to finish a few areas off first before I allow myself to get carried away with them. And she's also asked any sites or areas that are on your wish list. No is the answer to that, because every area is on my wish list, really. It's is it right to say that lost monuments have now become a kind of an addiction? I think that's fair to say. So no particular area, but I'm just going to keep searching for them because their story needs to be told. So I hope, Helen, that answers your questions, and I think we will a brief visit to Silbury, but by looking at those clouds, I think it is safe to say we either need to move on and hope I'll get another question in before these clouds open. See you in the next one. Heaven's just opened between coming from the Silbury to West Kennet Avenue, which is where we are now. Nobody's actually asked, but I don't know if you can see them, but one of my biggest fears out walking are those things up there being the cows. So we are going to stay here just while we do have a bit of blue sky. And we have a question from Generation Experiences. What has been your most favourite or most special find? I know I've just mentioned it in Helen's question, but it is going to have to be the Fox Hill figures. Purely found it by accident, just popped up in my search. And that was, to me, just an amazing bit of find that very few people knew about. That was great. I don't think I've got much of a window. Oh, I perhaps have. But all the lost monuments have been a great find, to be honest. and a lot of them, oddly, are by accident. Yeah, it would have to be Fox Hill figures. If anybody is new to the channel and hasn't seen it, please do see it. They are amazing two figures, up towards the Swindon area. Really worth a look. So I hope that answers your question. Right, next location, we're at the sanctuary. Quickly answering a question before those rain clouds decide to empty their contents. This question comes from Generation Explorers. And what has been your most rewarding experience creating content? The most rewarding thing, I think, is the community that you build up around the channel, because everyone that supports the channel is amazing, and it really helps me and inspires me to explore more of these lost monuments, well, all of the monuments really. So apart from the amazing community, it's very odd that this is a channel where we all know I don't come on camera, apart from the last few weeks where you might have had enough of me by now. It's weird going to places and hearing people talking about your videos and not realising who you are, and till now really. It's not just the community and all that, but actually it gets you out and about visiting these places, and for me, getting out and about and exploring the areas of the lost monuments. Okay, we can't see anything there, but you can view the landscape of how it would have looked, something you can't do on things like Google Earth or maps. You can't experience it quite so well. Yeah, I think the most rewarding bit is actually the community that's built around the channel, and some of the friendships that have come from the channel and creating these contents. That's been wonderful. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. So, next question from Jack Nature Travels. Have you any other hobbies? I do. I do actually enjoy crafting, and I do some writing, although writing stories, although I've never had them published. I never looked at having them published, well, not yet anyway. And then of course walking, which is my biggest hobby, which is what you see anyway. He's also asked, what has the most exciting place that you have visited and filmed? It goes to say that I've loved all the places I've visited, but if I had to put one down, it would be the Arthur Stone in Hereford, the actual excavation. That was just an amazing experience. So I'm going to go for that one, because having read so many reports, it was just wonderful to be actually, you see them, you walk past them, but to actually be able to get in there and talk to the archaeologists about what they find, and that was an amazing experience, one that I hope to do soon. He's also asked, what is the best place that you have filmed? Choosing something different than Arthur Stone is actually going to have to be Merlin's Mound. The big mound, a bit like Silbury Hill but slightly smaller, at Marlborough. There's another video coming out about it soon. And that is purely not because I had to get permission to go on there and actually film it. So I thought we'd just come back to the study to answer a question from Jim. Out of all the locations you filmed, which one would you want to live at? And that is a really simple answer. None of them. About 5 years ago, I very nearly did buy a house just outside the Avebury Stone Circle, but decided not to in the end, as would it be as special a place if I actually lived that close? That was the only reason I decided not to. So with that decision, no, I wouldn't. But let's now head to Avebury for the rest of the questions. Hi everyone, our next location has to be Avebury. Next question, possibly the most difficult question, thanks to Straight Outta Cornwall. If you had to keep one video, which one would you keep? E.g., which is your favourite? Well, you asked that question quite a few weeks ago, and trying to think of an answer for that one is so difficult. After 3 years, how can you choose one favourite video? So, the decision I came up with was, and it's not actually for the video itself, it's more of the comments. It is the part 1 of the Swindon Stone Circles, and the reason why I've chosen this one is because in the video I mentioned the archaeology report that was done there, and the lead archaeologist of that report actually watched the video and left a really lovely comment. So it's not the actual video itself, but it was that comment. I'm going to put a photo of it up, and that just meant the absolute world to me. He also asked, if you could visit one place in England, where would you choose? And I'm actually going to say everywhere. There's not one particular place. So I hope that answers your question. Perhaps the most difficult question of all of them. Right, next question is from North Bedfordshire Nature. Really sorry, I know you changed your channel name, but I didn't write it on my card. What got you into exploring and researching the history? It all started really when I started training for the Walking the Essex Ridgeway. Obviously, majority of the training happened in and around this area, not just this area, but around this part of Wiltshire. And you start seeing all these things, and then you start questioning, what are they? Are they any relation to Avebury? So that's really how it started, was doing all these walks. And because when you some of the walks were initially on my own, until a friend started joining me. So that's kind of how it really started, but it wasn't until I heard about the Serpentine Path in Hereford did the real passion for the lost monuments really hit in. I hope the wind's not too bad. It's only picking up a bit now. But that leads on to postcards and a pint question. What made you start the channel? The idea of the channel initially came about not about a year after I walked the rest of the Ridge Way, and I started walking with a different friend who helped. We started looking into these places and trying to research them a bit more, and it was their suggestion, I believe. I can't remember. It was just over 3 years ago, about starting the channel. I did him and half for a little while, and there's just something in me that thought, no, actually they were right. These monuments, they may be lost, but their stories do need to be told. And it's not just about the lost monuments, but even like Avebury's protected, but how long they can be protected for. When we look at Stonehenge with the tunnel, I know that's not good. I don't know how people feel about that, but you know, things change, and I think with all channels, whether it's history or whatever, you're recording history as it is now, because in 5 or 10 years time, or even a year's time, that area would have changed. So I think we're all recording something. I hope that answers your question, I think. Now, you've also added, what site would you most like to visit in the world? Now, quite a few people asked that question. A list of channels and people that asked that particular question, and I have no answer for that. There is one place that I will be going to, which I'll let you know in a minute. But in the world, it's really difficult, because yes, there are some places. I know somebody said, if you had all the money in the world, where would you go? And to be honest, I would just travel. I know one in particular place I would go to. But I have to say, I think my main interest is actually within the UK. I want to go to, and it actually coincides with a question from the Wiltshire Womble, who asked, where will you definitely plan to visit in the next 3 years? So in America there's a Serpent Mound. I'm going to put the picture of it, well, Google Earth picture of it now, and once I get back from next year's tour, I will be saving up for that. That is one definite place in the world that I will be going to, and I am aiming to go in the next 3 years. This question, where you have, one of your questions was, which one are you most looking forward to your big trip next year? I should really do an update on that trip, really. The list is so long, but there is one place I'm really, really looking forward to. So when I found out about the Serpentine Path in Hereford, I started looking at other serpent monuments. That's how I know about the Serpent Mound in America, but there's actually one in Scotland. Now, I have been to Scotland before and have tried to find it. Now, it's very difficult. I was travelling alone on that trip to Scotland, I couldn't find it. It's very difficult when you're travelling on your own to some of these places, trying to navigate, drive and all that. I couldn't find it, but this time I have a plan. Right, so next question is from Pinned on Places. What's the best landmark you have visited to date? I don't think I have a particular favourite. As such, so I can't really answer that one, I'm afraid. So let's go to the next question. Right, next question comes from Red Dragon's video. What would be the winning lottery numbers for the 14th of August? I have no idea. I don't even play the lotto. So sorry about that. And then he also asks, will you still making awesome videos? Yes. To answer that question. There may be some changes to how the videos are going to be done, which we'll come into in a minute. Next question from David. Have you ever thought of narrating the videos instead of text? I've been asked to do this more, I have to say, and so the plan is going to be, I'm not going to be in front of the camera much. I'm not one for being in front of the camera. So the fact that you've seen me quite a bit of late, that's not going to happen very often. As for the narrating, yes, that will start becoming in, mainly because there are going to be some longer videos coming in. As we delve a bit more into looking into places and why they're positioned where they are going to be longer videos, so they will be narrated. So the plan is the shorter videos will still stay the same, the 10-minute videos. The longer videos will be will be narrated. So I hope that answers your question. We finished our walk at Avebury round. Now we're going to head back to the study, where I can therefore answer the last question. We're back at the study. I hope you enjoyed that brief tour of some of the locations of Avebury, as well as the questions and answers. We still have one question to go, and I thought I'd come back to the study to answer it where the magic of the editing happens. So this question comes from Simon, who asks, how many hours does it take you to edit and put together a video roughly? That's really difficult to say because I don't do the editing all in one go. I normally do an hour or 2 hours. So quite often you're looking at, for a short 10-minute video, I would say anything between 6 or 8 hours. But then when there's a lot of information, you're looking at possibly 12, if not more hours. That's just on the editing. If you take the research into account, that's really hard to say, isn't it? Because like with the Swindon stone circles, that took about 4 months to get all the information we needed. And for the Serpentine Path in Hereford, took almost a year for me to get all the information that was needed for that video. So just for the editing, you're looking at a maximum of 12 hours, possibly a little bit more.
But in total it's really hard to give it a time. Obviously it's like everywhere, isn't it? Some research don't take any time at all, the information's there. Other times you're waiting on the archaeology sites or the centres to send you the information, then you have to wait to get permission to use the information, and some of it is a really long drawn out process. Because I don't like to give any information that you can just get off the internet, I do like to make sure I'm getting as much of the accurate information as I can for you guys. So a lot of the information you're seeing are from archaeology reports rather than just what you can find on the internet. So Simon, I hope that really answers your question. I'm afraid it's a bit short, but I can't really give a timeline on the whole process of creating the videos, because that's just the research, that's just the editing, and as you know, going out filming can take just as long as well. So I really hope that answers your question, and I would just like to thank everyone for all their support to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Until the next time, bye for now.